There is only one way out of here.
It's all causal. Hormones rage forth and stop menopausal. Menopause on. Colossal words that once spoke to find the nearest sword to fall on. There's only one train home, one ticket. So speak easy, think freely when walking through the thicket. Let the game drop like the leak from old spigots. Steer clear of barrel crabs, kleptos and bigots. Is this your stop? Where the derelicts congregate and run from the cops. We're in the midst of poverty. Clergy drive drop tops. Got armor bearers, rings, mascara, cameras, the whole lot. During the lockdown, this was the thesis. Send 10 shekels to get protected by Jesus. Lies behind the ties. Game never dies. Pimps realize that it's best to be disguised. Through the skies fly digital hawks with all-seeing eye. Before the game's over, you must know why. Poseidon and Zeus brought the juice. In the month of April, the year deuce, deuce, deuce. If you called it then cool, you got a chance to rule. Many the foolish just fool will get sucked in the pool. Yeah, is this prophetic words or just mere blurs? I don't know, I'm just hoping you heard. And I'm just hoping you heard. Think music. I'm just hoping you heard. Listen. I'm just hoping you heard.
Are you listening?
And I'm just hoping you heard. Not following herds. Cause what good is a man if not found with his word? The road curves, but the truth is sober. Never do swerve. One must have audacity, will, and the nerve. Cause sacred is the fire, the flame that never tires. The one train home is the mind in the zone. The magic washing oil as opposed to cheap cologne. The king rules by right as he ascends to the throne. But be careful cause infection can eat through the bone. My advice, extracted with a sharp knife exacted. Within your faction, keep a spirit of action. Fools collect data, wise men sift for diamonds that matter. Cause quality is godlike. When young souls chased after limelight, the honorable noble serves oblivious to spotlights. Home is the place where I lie in light. Illumination to restore my insight. That's my answer to the plight. Only train home. Yeah. That's my answer to the plight. Only train home. You are listening to Think Music. Al-Aqdar, the king known as Aladdin. It's a sharp line between superb and mean. It gets fuzzy when the listener's ear ain't that keen. The creme de la is mixed with a lesser cream. Still its lexicon is focused like a laser beam. Pierce the forehead with the sting of a pinky ring. The bliss it bring when the angelic force is seen is like the subtle kiss of butterfly's wings. Knowledge reigns supreme, no time for genuflection. Get off your knees, God, in this cycle resurrection. Dissect these bars, paperclip every section. You gon' find when you rewind, yes, every time, that every word spit shine like a newly minted dime. Make the crowd stand up like a erect spine, or a proud Georgia pine that was winning on the mind. No, fuzzy line, yeah, the word divine. The left hand hold a quill pen dipped in black ink. The 16's a warm up after 48 I breathe. And I warn you, don't sleep, cause I got more under my sleeve. Even the mind of Minota in the 80s could conceive. This young lad's words will one day make the world believe. No please or maybes, probablys could these. The true tales of a priest who rose from thieves. The ease with which he squeezed others and made cheese degrees. Higher than travelers could offer the people's pleas. For a serious MC, been answered the word complete. Convergent bees and virgin seas, leak pollen seeds, emerging G's, men God increase. The mark is east, to calm the beast. Arise like yeast in chords of E. The organ sings unordinary. The orbs on me, vocabulary exemplary. So pardon me, I'm parting seas apart from these. A part of me, divinity, the artistry is arson. See, it's suggested that you follow me, rather by plane, train, donkey, or feet. This particular genre we call meta rap, aggressively led by the word in Dap Dunlap. Think music, simply put the future's roadmap. Follow the man with a pitcher with water, and that's that. And that's that. And that's that. Yeah. And this is think music. When Dunlap cues it, the word voice infuse it. And this is think music. When Dunlap cues it, the word voice infuse it. This is think music. When Dunlap cues it, the word voice imbues it. Yes, sir. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Greetings. Peace, Sage. Thank you for joining in. Peace to the world. I hope y'all can hear me. Rolling on StreamYard this afternoon. Giving Zoom a little break because Zoom has been acting a little funny past couple of times I've been on. I hope I can be heard. If you can hear me out there, will somebody give me some indication? Give me a 1 if you can hear me, please, before we start dropping the information here. Give me a 1, please, if you can hear me. Peace to the world. Peace to the world. Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm pretty sure you can see me, but let me know. Drop it in the chat. Okay. I'm aware. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Midnight. All right. All right. We're rolling. So, yeah. Thank you for joining in on this brief broadcast. Today's a special day. It is my commemoration of when I came into this earth realm, at least on this trip around. Thank you, Sage. So I appreciate everybody who's been leaving the well wishes. And so, yeah, I felt compelled that this being my 49th, the start of my 49th year in this incarnation, that I wanted to talk about the concept, the archetype, the phenomenon, if you will, of Chiron, because it is quite significant to me. You know, thank you, Venus. Thank you, Sage. Yeah, it is quite significant to me because Chiron was discovered the year that I was born. So we're going to break down all this stuff this afternoon. But first, I want to remind you, as you see the ticker rolling at the bottom, I do have my sale, which ends tonight, 25% off 2026 forecast reading. Get on over to 720astrology.com and book your 2026 forecast reading. Also, my upcoming class, Introduction to Medical Astrology, will be held later this month. That'll be February 22nd. February 22nd, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time is our start time. It is Introduction to Medical Astrology, and it is not just medical astrology, but it is also a great introduction into the study of astrology, because there's nothing better than to study what you already know, which is your body, and use it as a point of reference. And so that, again, is on February 22nd. I look forward to seeing y'all there in class. When you sign up for the class, you will immediately receive a download of the PDF that we will be using as a syllabus, and it's going to be information that you can print out and keep to you for ongoing studies. So you're going to get immediate value when you sign up. So those are two things I want you to be aware of. Both of those, you can learn more and sign up at 720astrology.com. All right. So let's talk about Chiron. And I don't have the luxury of the same type of board that I have over on Zoom. Let's see if StreamYard has updated anything. No, they haven't. I want to see if I could they got something where I can write, I think. But I don't want to. We're just going to talk our way through this one. Okay? And you just have to follow along, and you'll be able to go back and catch the recorded version and rewind and all of that. The first thing that really jumps out is that Chiron, we'll say this first. Chiron, as a, guess it could be it could be categorized or described as a dwarf planet. That's the category it's in. It was discovered November 1st, 1977. That's when Chiron was officially discovered. And its time of discovery is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Pasadena, California, the discovery of Chiron. Now, since that name was given to this planetary body, let's delve into the mythology of Chiron. Now, when you look into Robert Graves' Greek myths, he gives the definition of Chiron as hand. Okay, hand. And this is where I really need I need the Zoom where I could be writing. And I have another little whiteboard, but I don't know where it's at. My handheld whiteboard. Okay. Chiron, according to Robert Graves, is hand. Now, there's a book that is out of print and is to get a printed, one of the few remaining printed copies. The price is ridiculous. Last time I checked, it was $5,000 for this book. And let me see. I want to see if that is still the case. The book is called Hebrew is Greek by Joseph Yehuda. I want to say that's the name of it. Hebrew is Greek. Yeah. Oh, new price. $11,142 on StreamYard. So if anybody wants to drop that on me, I will accept that gift. And I'm sure they'll take $6,000. But yeah, so that's the book, Peace Wars, which that is the book is Hebrew is Greek. Now, listen, Hebrew is Greek. Why is that significant? How does that relate to our conversation? Because Chiron means hand, and in Hebrew, the Yud symbol means hand, and the Yud also means spirit. So there's a correlation between hand and spirit. And the Yud has a value of 10. The Yud has a value of 10. Now, when you spell out the letter Yud, spell it out, every letter is comprised of other letters that make a word. So Yud, the name of that fucking assholes. Spam. Uh the Yud, when you spell it out, is a Yud, a Vav, and Dalet. Yud is 10, Vav is 6, Dalet is 4, and that equals 20. Well, what's interesting is when you spell out the letter Yud, which means hand and spirit, the spelling of 20 is the numeric value of Kaf, and Kaf means fist. So now the hand, which is here, has now formed a fist, and Kaf has the value of 20. So you see how this symbolism is all packed into this language. And Kaf means the hollow of the hand. So it is the hollow of the hand that allows for grasping. If the hand does not see, when this is what the calf looks like. And to form this, hold on, buddy. To form this letter, the hand has to take on symbolically the shape of reception. Okay, I gotta hurry up because my folk want to get to me. Okay, peace, curves, and cosmos. Okay, so that's the calf, right? And that's what the letter looks like. And then what it means is, so this denotes that something has been received and is in possession. Keep that in mind. Now, the word hand, when we go through Indo-European etymology, hand correlates to an old German reference word for 10. Again, hand, which in German, Hund, Hund refers to, is an old German reference word for 10. Now, we just said Hebrew, the Yud has a value of 10. Thank you, curves, has a value of 10, right? And then here's this reference word that then refers to the hand as 10. While the finger in this old German reference is related to the number 5. Okay. And for further reference, it's like you can go and read Psalms 119 and 73. Thy hands have made me and fashioned me. So we're talking about, and we know if you got my book, I talked about the hand. The word manifestation means to make one's hands holy. Fest means holy, and man. So to make the hands holy. Okay. Now we go further. Is that hand symbolically and etymologically coincides with the concepts of grasping and perceiving. And this leads back to the Latin roots per and capere, which means to take. Grasping, to take, to possess. Now look at how now I'm gonna backtrack. We're gonna backtrack so we can see how, because you're probably thinking, wait a minute. I came to learn about Chiron. Why are we talking about the hand? So let's backtrack. I said that according to Robert Graves in his book Greek Myths, Chiron means hand. Then I said that, then I did the correlation between that definition and in Hebrew, the Yud, which represents symbolically the hand and has a value of 10. Then I said when you spell out Yud, it has a value of 20, which is the same value as another hand in Hebrew, but it's Kaf. And kaf means the hand is now closed. But before it could close, it was hollow and able to receive and possess something. And then I went further to show that in the old German reference word of hand, Hund, means 10, and the finger means 5. Then I said hand symbolically and etymologically coincides with the concepts of grasping and perception, taking hold of something. Now that brings us back up to speed. Chiron's association with the hand, i.e. the palm, would also coincide with the Sufi symbol of the palm tree. Now, I'm not getting none of this out of a book. This is just Jamal making his own scholastic inference. So somebody could come and challenge this and be like, that's not what it really, and I really just don't give a damn, because this is my own me. All knowledge does not come from somebody telling you, it is from you putting pieces together. So this is how my mind works, because the palm tree is one of the Sufi symbols, and one of the references in Sufism is one getting on one's way. He's on his way. She's on her way. And way aligns with Tao. Okay? Or Tao, whichever one. Tao, Tao, however you want to say it. Is one being on one's way. So there's a correlation between the way and the palm tree. But palm, the hand. Now, again, this is nothing I ever read in any Sufi material. This is how stuff be coming to me. I was watching a video one time, and I don't know what I was looking for. Maybe I was trying to figure out how to fix something around the house, but this video pops up about why it's dangerous having palm trees close to your house, because their root system is one of the most persistent, if you will, of any tree. Their root system is just dynamic, and they're large, and they're designed to seek water wherever they can find them. And that is what let me know, oh, this is one of the reasons that the palm tree is used symbolically for the Sufi tradition or path, because it seeks water wherever it can find it. And Idris Shah has a book titled Learning How to Learn. Learning how to learn is being able to seek water wherever you can find it. It's not about everything that's told to you. It's about what can you infer from paying attention. So that I'm giving you a prime example. This video does not say Sufi secrets. It's about somebody talking about foundation repair. But you learn how to learn. You seek knowledge wherever you can find it. However the package comes to you. That's the magician. You're able to see things when they're not saying, hey, like a professor in college, they'll tell you sometimes you need to write this down. It's going to be on your test. Well, life don't always work that way. You don't always get told you need to write this down. It just shows up. Now, do you have the wherewithal to grasp it and the magnanimous potential of that moment in your journey to grasp the significance of what just dropped down into your consciousness? That shit was divine. That was the palm tree. It's the roots, because palm trees are meant for hot tropical environments, right? Where the sun is beaming. So they got to know how to get water. So I deviated there. I went on to a little. So once you could be in the palm tree and emerging the root system, surviving. Okay, I touched that. touched on learning how to learn. So then it brings us back to Chiron, the palm tree. So what's another word for learning? The palm tree seeks water wherever it can find it. It is learning how to learn. It is being an open vessel to learning. And what's another way of describing someone who can learn easily? Oh, he or she grasps concepts very well. Grasp, the hand. So Chiron, referring to the hand, also has a connection to the sign of Taurus. Because what is the key word for Taurus? When you're learning these keywords, there's a great little, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this. It's this little thing. You can get it off Amazon. Let me see if I got one. If you're learning astrology, this thing right here, everybody should have. You go on Amazon. If you're new to learning astrology, this is a good way to start teaching yourself. You see this little simple thing, and it gives you these little keywords, and it says I am for Aries, and then for Taurus, keywords are I have. So for me, when you hear I have, I am, so to say the water is speaking, I am water. But now if I enter me into the equation and I say, now I have water, because the identity of this has been established. Now I say I have it. I have water. How do I have it? Because I'm grasping it. It's in my hand. Taurus. So again, to have means to grasp. It also means to perceive. And now, when I go into the realm of I perceive, I have now entered into Gemini, because Gemini says I think, and to think is to perceive. So this is blending the concepts of possession, as in more tangible, but also metaphorical through the lens of my mind, grasping, learning, perceiving. Now, Taurus is a bovine energy, because Taurus is associated with the bull, and the bull is a member of the bovine family. All right. Cow, the bull, the bison, the yak, the ox. Now, why is the ox significant? So you have to figure out how to connect these dots. Taurus, association with the bull, is the bovine family, but also in the bovine family is the ox. And why is the ox significant? Because the first letter in the alphabet is the aleph, and the symbol for aleph is the ox. Why? Because the ox represents power. It is divine power that has been hidden into man, and that power is moving man. It's forcing man. It propels man, which is what you're using the ox. The ox is pulling the plow. That's the power to work the land. So we're seeing these connections. I'm doing symbolically. I'm connecting Chiron through the hand to Taurus, bovine family, connecting to the ox, which is the aleph, which is divine power. Okay. Then, okay, let's go silent. Then you got the fact that Chiron is a centaur, in the mythology. That means half horse, half man. And that's a whole nother uh, rabbit hole we can go down with the symbolism of that half horse, half man. But that is why Chiron has a association with Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is centaur energy. Okay. But centaur means 10, because centaur comes from decum, and dec is 10. So here we said hand 10. Chiron is a centaur 10. See how this is how we start getting to the core of what it. See, you hear a million videos about Chiron is your deep wound that you came here to heal, and it is where we are. Blah blah. Chiron's the wounded healer, but you gotta take your own exploration into this shit to get beyond. Like, how do I really make this thing ring for me? Like, personally, I need something deeper than that. That's what I'm trying to give you. Like, you got to take routes that are not prescribed. You got to go at shit from a different angle a lot of times to really get something different. And I know I'm on the money because I'm in my Chiron return. I'm 49 years today. My Chiron return started last year. Okay. It retrograde, it hits again later this year, and then it completes next year. I know I'm on the money because I'm living it. Plus, I've looked at charts. I've seen that, and it's giving you data. So I know that this is a valid and viable means of approaching the deeper meaning to line up with the data that has already been collected. Okay. Now, Chiron again, centaurs connected to the Sagittarius, which is the masculine expressive side of Jupiter. Now, this is what you got to know about Chiron. Beyond just all the killer stuff. Chiron in your chart can be where you have high expectations. Chiron can represent a burning desire for knowledge because it's where you are seeking to be educated about matters involving the house and sign that it is related in. Chiron can literally represent travel. It may be matters related to the sign and house that you move from. Okay, literally or philosophically. Chiron can be an adventure. Chiron can be where you are very idealistic about matters involving, especially the house that it's in. Chiron can be optimism. Chiron can be where you are seeking a higher truth. And see, well, this stuff sounds like, what does it sound like? It sounds like Sagittarius. So it is like another aspect of your philosophy, or the philosophy that you're looking to establish is acted out or acted upon Chiron in your chart. And the wounded healer part, we're not discounting or discrediting that, because it is that. The wound is what's driving these. The wound is what sends you on the adventure. The wound is what you're looking for, the higher perspective or philosophy to heal. It is, you see what I'm saying? You're going through the Jupiterian through Sagittarian lens means of healing this wound. Relative, you got to think though, it's through the sign that it's in. So how does so it's these different components you got to weigh. How does that sign express? What are the parameters of the house that sign is in? And that's why it's nuanced in how you look at it. Prime example, I've seen people with Chiron in the 12th house. I've seen a person that's an atheist. I've seen a person who went on this quest of studying all these different religions. Why? Because the 12th house is the house of spirit. And Chiron can be a great expectation. And maybe the idea that the atheist had of spirituality or divinity, maybe it was not met. And so that led that person to just say, there's nothing. See, that's the philosophy that they landed at. They did, and it was Taurus in the 12th house. They didn't find security in divinity. They didn't find they didn't find any value in the idea of a God. So they become an atheist. I mean, the shit is okay. Chiron ultimately says this, and as a person who has Aquarius as the operating system, because that's my sun sign, I rock with this. Chiron says the truth shall set you free. Because in the mythology, this is part 2 to the Prometheus conversation. Who was it who was placed in on the side of the Caucasus Mountains? In Prometheus's place, it was Chiron. And this chain to the Caucasus Mountain representing chain to humanity. And so part of getting out here is you must, in this reality, you cannot afford to live this reality without seeking a why. Like, why is this? What is this? What's my perspective about this? What's my philosophy? Regardless of whether it aligns with anybody else's, you must be in pursuit of what's the meaning of this shit. And that's how you get free from it. You cannot just be chained, because the liver, the ego, is my desire. In some systems, the liver is the seat of the desire body. So if I'm just living through a base, carnal, automaton mind, I don't ever think about the why behind nothing. I go with everything. I go along with everything. I don't question nothing. Then you are chained to the mountain. So that's the wound. The ego keeps eating that liver. Chiron has to come in Prometheus' place. And your truth will set you free. That's the shit. So the whole drama, the way these mythologies are set up is they will have you seeing the good guy, bad guy, you know what I'm saying? But it's all talking about, in one regard, you can say it's all talking about something going on within your own universe. Because Zeus represents the truth. Because Zeus means bright sky, clarity. Truth is supposed to bring clarity. So truth synthesis Prometheus, foresight. So your foresight is being tested by your own humanity. And if you really are about that which you say you are about, then you must prove it. And you must be able to hold this truth in the midst of your own humanity, eating at you, taking the toll on you, fetters holding down on your spirit. It's so yeah. So let's see if I can pull the chart for when Chiron was discovered. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Video file, share screen. That's what I need. Share screen. Okay, let me find this chart for Chiron. See if this shows up. Okay. Now I can't blow it up to make it bigger, or maybe I can. Yeah, that's a little better. That's a little bigger. So here's the discovery of Chiron, November 1st, 1977, 10 a.m., Pasadena, California. So those of you who are born in November, you especially, and look at the date. November is All Saints Day, or the Day of the Dead, Dias de los Muertos. Okay. This is in the pagan calendar. This is the start of winter. So here we have the sun in Scorpio. So the ego has died, and the ego is in it. So the two ego placements are in an inflammatory relationship to each other. They are in a square, and they're forming a T square with, look at where Chiron is. Anybody see what sign is Chiron in? Now think about the background information I've given you. What sign is Chiron in when it's discovered? It's in Taurus. Now remember, I said Chiron, hand, Taurus. Keyword for Taurus: I have, grasp, perception, bovine, aleph. I possess the power of the Almighty. What was the He-Man? It was by the power of Grayskull. I have the power. We used to get amped when he raised that sword, all of a sudden he get that dark tan. you know. Um, so here we literally have it played out in the astrological clock. Chiron appears when it's discovered. It's in Taurus. And so when you have the two planets of ego consciousness, Mars, the sun, so there's already, this places a dilemma, a crisis around, who am I? The truth. And so, but it's also about a crisis of knowledge of personal value. So as this next wave of my comrades roll into their Chiron return towards the end of this year, because they're going to get their first wave. See, we're already, those of us from like 75 to 77, we've already been dealing with it. We started with it back last year, but towards the end of this year, that group will get their first taste of their Chiron return, because Chiron will make its first ingress into Taurus. And so it's about value. It's about possession. What do you possess? What do you have of value? What do you have of worth? What makes you worthy? What does value mean? Okay. And does what you value align with your family? Because when Chiron was discovered, relative to its geographical location of the discovery, Chiron was in the fourth house. Chiron was in the fourth house. So although it had moved from Aries into Taurus, it still was carrying out the dilemma that my generation faced. What's the truth of our identity? And we were labeled as Gen X, as in no identity. So for that little group of us born in that so-called Gen X who had Chiron in Aries, it was a double dose of trying to figure out who we were. For me, Chiron's in my fourth house. So what's my identity as relates to my roots? And roots is not just your family, it is your nation, your tribe. And my life has been a struggle figuring out who am I in this group so-called labeled as black. That's been a humdinger, because we can be something else. If you don't fit into the idea of what said group or cliques or whatever say you're supposed to be, oh boy, something else. And what's funny is in the chart where this is discovered, relative to the geographical location, look at the first and the seventh houses. And this is why it's good to use a quadrant system here to give us some more nuance. You notice that the first and seventh houses are intercepted. So at the discovery of Chiron, relative to the location being in Pasadena, California, that there's a crisis of identity because the first house is intercepted. So for you all who fall in the Chiron and Taurus generation, you want to study this chart because to some degree you are imbued with the energy that is laid down at the discovery of this planetary body. Who am I? And the security and comfort through relationship. What does that look like? It's there. It's there. You got the moon in its domicile in the seventh. You got Jupiter exalted in the seventh, but they're intercepted. So that's the buried treasure. And it's squaring Venus. So you already see the directive of this generation. The directive was to transmute the old decayed matter of the institution of relationship, Venus and Pluto and Vesta. So the fire of relationship, love as a fire, must be maintained through transforming and allowing the old paradigms to die. What we think is relationship, that must die. That was a directive to reimagine how do people relate to each other? What does an ego death look like? What does the excessiveness of my emotional expression look like through relationship? Venus squaring the moon. It's a moon, it's a relationship of excessive indulgence. We're also dealing with, this generation is also coming in to deal with sexual abuse with Venus conjunct Pluto squaring the moon. So you may be having to work through all of the old baggage that might be in your lineage that ain't been talked about, where people have been touched funny, and nobody could say nothing. And all that goes and gets passed and gets passed. And, you just don't say nothing. When Uncle so-and-so come around, you just got to watch the kids because, he ain't right. And how all those things lived through families, right? And they just got pushed down. That may be part of the directive of this group coming in was to work. I mean, it's y'all scholars, y'all sit and look. I'm giving you the chart. November 1st, 1977, 10 a.m., Pasadena, California. You sit with it. But we do see a correlation between the symbolism, symbolically, the symbolic reference points, etymological reference points, and it just so happens, and I don't believe in things just so happening, but I'm just going to say it to be coy. It just so happens that when Chiron is discovered, it's in Taurus. I think that's mind-blowing. And I think it gives you clues about how to govern yourselves accordingly and what type of things you are working through. I just want to reiterate this. When it comes to Chiron, the truth shall set you free. And the truth is I'm going to use Lisa's reference here. Although this is not the context your truth is your Stargate out of here. That is your truth, your philosophy, your guiding light. You cannot live this life just going to and fro, because if you are, you actually are not alive. And the wound of Chiron, we could liken to the Lamed in the Hebrew script. Lamed is the 12th letter, and it has the value of 30. And it's the tallest letter in the Hebrew script. And where Aleph is the ox, the Lamed is the ox goad. And how do you goad the ox? Psst. You either hit it or you hit it with some type of electrode or in other words, some type of pain. Chiron, the wound of Chiron is the pain that shows up to push you towards the truth, which will set you free. Now, the vast majority will go through many lives, and the pain will never prod them or goad them to seek the truth. Because the same Lamed that means ox goad also means teacher. Your pain is supposed to be your teacher, Chiron. Because if this existence is made too delicious, what impetus will you have to seek a higher truth? Pain is the best teacher. And Chiron, just like Saturn reminds us of that, Chiron reminds us of that too. Now, like I said, this is just a quick little drop in. Visit my site, 720astrology.com, to book your 2026 forecast reading. You got until 11:59 at night, Central Standard Time. And also, don't forget about my Intro to Medical Astrology class, which is on February 22nd. Sign up for both, 720astrology.com. So thank y'all again. Salute. Thank y'all for rocking with me on my day here. And I'm about to get in here and kick it with the fam for a little bit. And as always, know the stars to know yourself. And damn sure, stay down till you get up. And when you get up, stay down. Peace.